Hello and welcome to Estuary TV News with me, Dan Kemp. In tonight's show, Keith Orvesh will be talking about an e-book he wrote about his wife who sadly lost a battle against cancer and the money he's raised as a result. And we hear about Cardiac Risk in the Young, a charity being supported by Hull City's official supporters club. But first, here's Richard Morris with all the latest news headlines.
Hello, in the headlines today, dogs have been stolen near Caister and people of all ages and abilities are being encouraged to take part in sports in Hull. The Fitties closed season should be doubled to 4 months according to an independent report. North East Lincolnshire Council Cabinet will meet next month to discuss the flood risk assessment, which recommends the closed season should be from early November to the end of February. It also recommended that occupancy of the site should be restricted to daylight hours only during the closed season. Chalet owners have already been sent letters outlining the findings of the report. A dog breeder has lost his life's work after thieves stole 8 dogs worth thousands of pounds from his home near Caister. John Lennon came home on Saturday to find someone had broken into his home and taken 8 dogs from the pens outside his home in North Gullham. The dogs were Saluki and Saluki crosses, all under a year old, and can sell for up to £1,000 each. He now has just 2 females left, one who he took shopping and the other who he found roaming outside his house. John, who is now retired, has spent 35 years breeding the dogs and built up a reputation across the country. Now he feels as though he's back to square one. He's offered a £2,000 reward for the dogs.
Well, I had some dogs advertised and I think somebody's got me address and came round to see me, probably to buy a pup or something, and then took the opportunity because I wasn't in and just took the dogs and disappeared. Yeah, it's a bit of a blow, you know. You can replace most things, but animals you can't, can you? You know. It's just, I don't know, I'm just fed up with it all, you know.
A spokesman for Lincolnshire Police has said they are doing everything in their power to locate the dogs and have opened a number of lines of inquiry. They're also appealing for information from the public. East Riding of Yorkshire Council is unleashing new funding to help high streets and marketplaces. The money will mean that 13 locations can have access to cash for changes to encourage visitors to the area. Beverley has already had 2 applications approved, including a series of specialist markets organised by North Bar Traders Association, and the Beverley Christmas Lights Committee are proposing new decorative lighting for the Saturday market. Councillor Jane Everson is encouraging any groups or parish councils considering an application to speak to the East Riding Council soon. Police want information relating to the theft of a poppy box in Skegness. The incident happened at 6 a.m. on Sunday morning in the reception area of the Royal Hotel on Drummond Road. The suspect is described as a white male in his 40s wearing tracksuit bottoms with 3 stripes and a dark coat. Anyone with information is urged to contact Lincolnshire Police. Big debate took place at a meeting on the future of Grimsby Central Hall on Monday night. Members of the public expressed passionate opinions on the future of the hall, saying its closure would rip out the cultural heart of the town. The hall will stay open until 24th of March 2015, but if it can't find enough funding by then, it will close. Richard Bradley, chairman of the Central Hall Trust, explained why he thinks people aren't coming to the hall and how this can be turned around.
The Trust was set up to sustain this building for the traditional forms of entertainment that went on in here. The Philharmonic doing the Messiah, Bach's B minor Mass, orchestral concerts, that sort of thing. We've moved away from that in an attempt to bring more people in, to bring younger people in, but so far it's not been highly successful. Well, as I outlined, it's people to take on the jobs that need doing, which is quite demanding in time, and it's a substantial amount of money.
An event in Hull took place to encourage people of all ages and abilities to engage in sport together. The Disability Sports Day encouraged people from across Hull and their carers to attend an event to bond over community sports with a Halloween theme. It's part of a nationwide push to make communities more aware of people with disabilities and the help they can offer. Claire Champlin from Hull City Council explained the importance of having events like this.
The main benefits are the social element of it, also sort of being active by having fun. So obviously we've got a lot of different activities like the bocce, the curling, table tennis and the basketball. The thing about the event is just to keep people active and make sure that they have a lot of fun from doing it, which then increases participation and makes them healthier for longer.
That's all from me for now. Goodbye.
Thanks, Richard. Now, Hull City Official Supporters Club have thrown their weight behind a campaign to have heart screenings made available to younger people in our area. At present, they're not available on the NHS, but a campaign to have them installed has recently come into the public eye in our region due to the sad passing of one of the Supporters Club's members. I went along to find out more. The Hull City Official Supporters Club are backing a campaign for more heart screening in younger people between the age of 14 and 35. CRY, which stands for Cardiac Risk in the Young, has been chosen as the Supporters Club's official charity, as one of its younger members, Joshua Fell, sadly died from a cardiac arrest while out playing football.
Josh's condition, which he died from, we didn't know of until we found out about CRY, Cardiac Risk in the Young. And they've helped us a lot since we lost Josh 3 years ago, with counselling, and helped us focus on fundraising for CRY themselves.
Joshua was just 15 years of age when he died, and his family are extremely keen to keep the campaign in the public eye. They want screenings to become more commonplace, as they're currently unavailable on the NHS.
It was undiagnosed in Josh's case, and in 80% of most cases that there aren't any symptoms. If you start having blackouts, you can go to your doctor and just persist with them and get your doctor to get you in for an ECG, which might lead to nothing, or it might pick up on an unknown heart defect.
And that is where Hull City's official supporters club, of which Joshua's family all continue to be members of, come in.
Spoke to Josh's parents and made a wristband that we're selling with Hull City Official Supporters Club on and then supporting CRY, and we've tried to do it so we get pictures of people with it too, so we've got the wristbands and we've got photos of different people, ex-players and radio people, and just to spread the word really over Twitter, Facebook.
It's an easy gesture, it's a little bit of pocket change to most, less than the price of a pint in the bar on a match day, and it's on your wrist. People notice it, people stop and ask you, what's that for, what are them colours for?
And the campaign is going from strength to strength, with City players past and present, Josh's family and even Estuary TV in on the act.
Hopefully if it just helps one family not have to go through what Josh's family went through, then it's been a worthwhile cause for the year.
Dan Kemp, Estuary TV News. Next up, I have Keith Orvesh and his friend Heather Williams with me in the studio. Keith has written an e-book about his wife who sadly lost her battle with cancer and the journey he's been on before, during and since. Keith has raised money for St Barnabas Hospice and Cancer Research UK through the sales of his e-book, and I'm glad to say he joins me, and they both join me in the studio now. Thanks for coming in today.
Hiya.
You're very welcome, and thank you for asking us.
It's not a problem. Can you first just start off by telling us a little bit about the story that's got you to the point of writing a book?
Okay, well the initial inspiration, the main inspiration, Dan, was a letter I would describe as a love and, if you like, farewell letter that I never wanted to accept or read or receive, written by my late and beautiful wife Yvonne, in secret I might add, when she was terminally ill, left for me to read when she'd passed away. If I can just go back for a moment to 2007, Yvonne was vibrant and full of life, looked probably in my eyes about 40, but in reality she was 57 then. And then the bombshell dropped, of course, as it does with a lot of people. She developed terminal cancer of the lungs. She had an ordeal that we, the family and close family, suffered with her for 20 months. And when she did finally pass away on the 20th of September 2009, both my daughter Lavinia and son Craig and myself cuddled her and held her hands while she slipped away at home. About half an hour or so after we had lost her, still at home, I read the letter that she had left me in her presence. It was very moving, as you can imagine, very touching and very personal. But there was two statements in that letter that led to where we are today. The first statement, I guess, was more of a plea. And I quote, she said, "Please do not let them forget me," end of quote. Well, this nagged at my subconscious mind for a couple of weeks. I probably read the letter a dozen times or so. One morning I woke up at 3 a.m. or thereabouts, and I realised I needed to write about Yvonne. Let me just say that she was never a pretentious woman. In fact, exactly the opposite, never sought the limelight. Very caring and thoughtful sort of lady. In fact, wrote letters for everyone, all our children and grandchildren and close friends. But she had written this letter, and obviously it nagged away at me. And I knew when I woke up that I had to write about her. So that's exactly what I was determined to do. And that was fraught with disaster as well, because I was no writer or author. In fact, I'd always had admin support or secretaries during my working life, so I was a little bit lazy as far as using IT, which I really knew nothing about. PC was not or IT was not my bag. But anyway, that's what I decided to do, and I was determined I would do it. Well, at this time, in fact, just the day after I lost Yvonne, things started to happen in a very uncanny and mystical sort of way. Now, I'm not easily shocked, Dan, as you probably know, I spoke to you earlier, that with my medical background, I'm not shocked easy. But I was quite shocked. First half a dozen, okay, I put down maybe to coincidence or a little bit unusual. But after that, these uncanny events, which in the first year totaled over 30.
And what were these events? Go on then.
Well, I will come on to that in a moment if I may. But over the 4-year period, Dan, which I capped for the book, there was over 100. The first one that we experienced was, I say we, because my son Craig and daughter Lavinia and I, with the funeral director, the very next day, he was with us to make arrangements for Yvonne's farewell, was in the house when this happened. And we was all shocked. But we put it down to what those things may be, as you do. But I didn't know this was a journey. And this was going to be a journey that would last probably for a lifetime. Certainly, as far as the book is concerned, which is my debut ebook, it's, as I say, well over 100.
Okay, so can we move on to what Heather's input in this, if we may? Talking about, obviously, Heather's helped you with this. How's that gone?
Well, Keith got in contact with me after I released my own ebook, The Life of Helen Riley. And it was quite an interesting story, really, because Keith was away at the time. And his friend brought a newspaper with an article of me. And Keith decided to make contact. And it was mainly for sort of the technical areas of IT, uploading onto Amazon. So I'm sort of self-taught, to be honest.
Okay, so Keith, obviously your role as a medic as well, before this all happened. How did that help you cope?
Well, I don't know whether it did. It must have done, because as I said, I'm not easily shocked. My background, very briefly, is both Yvonne and I lived 36 years in Essex. Yvonne all her life, up until when we moved to Sutton-on-Sea. And we joined the ambulance service in the 60s. I might add, just before Yvonne. Didn't have twin-tone hooters then, by the way, I rang the bell down. I was privileged to have 2 or 3 years on the road as an ambulance, working on an ambulance vehicle. But after that, I got made up as an officer. And as Yvonne wrote in her autobiography in 2002, to the dizzy heights of divisional commander. Not too sure I was dizzy, or I liked heights, but there we are.
Okay, sorry, I'll just have to cut you there just to say, obviously the book is available on Amazon, and it's also going to be, the money's going to go towards Cancer Research UK.
Yes, it is. It's going to go towards Cancer Research UK and St Barnabas Hospice.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for joining me. And that's all for tonight's show, but don't forget, if you've got some stories you want to share with us, then please get in touch on our usual number 315 561. Of course, that's Grimsby. And thanks for watching. Bye for now.